welcome to episode 4 of What I Miss About Britain. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I'm not with Marcelo. I'm on holiday, so no lessons for the next 2 weeks. And instead I'm spending a lot of time filming for my new YouTube channel. And I thought it would still be a good idea to try and record a podcast, even though I'm not with Marcelo. So if it sounds different, please excuse me. It's because I am recording this in a tent trailer. And I have no microphone, and there's kids and my mother-in-law in the background. So I apologize for the sound quality, but I thought it was better than not doing anything. So I thought I would talk about the Brexit campaign in England. As a lot of you probably know, there has been a referendum in the UK where people were voting on whether they should stay or leave the EU. I was a stay believer, I guess that's what you could call me. And I was a little bit disappointed to hear that the UK had voted to leave the European Union. I kind of I don't miss being England because of this. I'm quite glad I'm in Canada. I'm kind of embarrassed by Britain for voting out of the EU. I was really proud to be European. In fact, I probably prefer to be European than English. I love the fact that I'm European. I guess I'm still European, but I liked being part of the European Union. I always thought it was kind of crazy that we never moved to the euro when the rest of Europe moved to the euro and we still have the pound. So I'm kind of a bit disappointed by the result and a bit worried about the future of Britain. From an economical point of view, but also, because David Cameron has resigned, I'm worried about who's going to replace him. Boris Johnson makes me laugh, but I really don't think he's going to make a good prime minister. I'm just imagining him and Donald Trump together, what kind of crazy ideas they're going to come up with. So I think the future of Britain kind of concerns me, and I'm not sure I actually miss being in England right now. And like I said earlier, I'm glad I'm in Canada because I've kind of escaped that whole embarrassment. Well, I am still embarrassed, but I've kind of escaped that embarrassment a bit. I feel sorry for my friends who are all gutted over the fact that the UK has decided to leave and they're worrying about their future. And I think one thing that's really interesting is that the results of the vote were that the majority of the older population actually voted to leave the EU, but the majority of the younger population voted to stay. So I think that's kind of worrying because we're supposed to be voting to improve the future of our younger generation, surely. I mean, yes, we want to look after the elderly, but there is a younger generation coming up who we need to be thinking about. We need to be thinking about what's best for them. So I think the younger generations were really disappointed that people hadn't voted for them, and they were voting to stay because they understood that it benefits them and their families and the future families. To me, it seems like a lot of selfish voting from people. And I think one of the most interesting things about it is that a lot of people were quite shocked that their vote to leave actually counted. And there's some reports in the news that people kind of regretted their vote almost instantly and didn't think that their vote would count, didn't think that they would win. And I don't think they even considered the consequences of what's going to happen to Britain if they leave the EU. There's people who are saying if they would vote again, they would change their vote. They would be voting to remain and not leave. So it's kind of a crazy time over in England right now. And I feel bad, a little bit guilty that I'm not there being a part of it. I feel like maybe I'm letting down my country, my home country, for not being a part of it. And it's difficult because I'm secretly happy. Well, not secretly because I'm broadcasting this, but I'm happy I'm in Canada and nothing crazy is happening in Canadian politics. Although maybe some Canadians would argue against me on that one. Maybe because I'm not so used to Canadian politics, I'm not quite so embarrassed by the things that go on here, but I'm definitely concerned about what's happening in Britain, concerned about what's happening in America, and for the future of both Britain and America, it does concern me somewhat. So yeah, I think I've probably voiced my main ideas about the Brexit. So yeah, I think to summarize, I feel bad I'm not in England. I feel I'm bad I'm not with my friends to discuss what's going to happen. I'm secretly a bit happy that I'm in Canada and I don't really have to be a part of it. When England or the UK sort of goes downhill and the pound loses its value and all those kind of things, I'm not a part of that. But yeah, at the same time, I feel a little guilty. Okay, so it's just a short podcast today. I wanted to make sure I recorded something each week, so I hope the sound quality is not too bad and that it was worth you tuning in to listen to this week's episode. And I will see or speak to you again next time. But goodbye for now.